The 12 News Verify team is constantly working to help clear up confusion surrounding the big topics right now, like coronavirus and the election. And lately, there has been a lot of debate and contradicting claims about mail-in ballots and absentee ballots. Some politicians say absentee are clearly better. Some say mail-in are completely fine. And still others say there's no difference between the two. So we've had our Verify team looking into these claims to find out what's really going on. Here's Team 12's Jason Puckett.
The president has come out against mail-in ballots, calling them a, quote, formula for rigging an election, but he's shown support for absentee ballots. So we wanted to verify, are absentee ballots different than mail-in ballots? We checked with the National Conference of State Legislatures, the Electronic Registration Information Center, and multiple state boards of elections. Now, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures, absentee ballots have to be requested. 29 states let any registered voter request one without a reason, but 16 states require you to have a specific reason why you can't cast your vote in person, like military service or business travel on election day. Then that request has to be approved in order for you to actually get your ballot. That leaves mail-in ballots, a small group of states that automatically send all registered voters a ballot, whether they request one or not. The NCSL calls these all-mail voting states, and these are the processes that the Trump administration has been challenging. Like in Nevada right now, the Trump campaign is suing the state after they passed a bill that would automatically send ballots for the November general election to all registered voters. Bottom line, claims that absentee ballots are different than mail-in ballots are true, but there's only one difference. And that's how you actually get the ballot in the first place. Regardless of what name you use, all ballots are treated the same once they're in the mail. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.